Hey everyone. So have you seen this video lately? I've seen it passed around by many people, even those that I associate or align with as far as having a full grasp, or at least I thought a grasp and an understanding of who the true enemies, who the true culprits are as far as imposing their wills, their mandates, or edicts on us. But I have to say today, yeah, my faith in my fellow liberty lovers, or at least a portion of them, has been greatly shaken because I'm seeing a lot of people out there promoting and praising people such as Ted Cruz for his grilling of Mark Zuckerberg, or some of these other senators or congressmen that are now, trying to break Zuckerberg over the coals for what? Because he allowed some company to collect some data and sell it so that they can have better political targets or ads. Hello, folks. I'm still baffled here how people don't understand that the reason why you have access to these social media sites and all that they offer for free is because, yeah, it's right in the disclaimer. It's right in the agreement. It's right in the contract. Now, I get a lot of people say, oh, but that's a really extensive contract, and they're constantly changing the contract. Hey, I get you where that's concerned, and that's a valid concern. But once again, if you are that concerned about it, then the onus should be on you, as a responsible individual, as a responsible adult, that, hey, if you're that concerned about the platforms that you deal with, then just don't deal with the fucking platforms. You have complete voluntary choice of whether you deal with Facebook or Twitter or any other social media platform. So once again, personal responsibility, the onus is on you as an individual. But the fucking crazy, the insane, hypocritic aspect of this is the fact that Ted Cruz is now going to sit there, like I say, a senator, which, I mean, I'll just first bring up, the Edward Snowden revelations about how all these fucking, the people in government, they know damn well that they're spy counterparts, and they've created the legislation that has made it somewhat or quasi-legal, right? They all voted for this shit, that it's okay for these governments like the Five Eyes, US, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, the UK. Yeah, they're all spying on everything you do electronically, and they're fucking collecting all your information. And I've shared this kind of material in past videos many, many times. And so if you understand, or if you're paying attention to my videos, you should know the reality of the facts, folks. It's the government fucks that are doing everything against your will and spying on you. And you have no way to opt into anything that has to do with government because they set the rules, right? But once again, Zuckerberg, as much as, yeah, he does collect a lot of data. I'm not defending the guy or his platform for everything they do, but come on. Once again, voluntary choice versus government, which is all about force. And in addition to that, that's just the primary thing I want to point out. The secondary, and basically as important though, aspect of this whole story, especially in reference to Ted Cruz, is this fucking piece of shit. He hired Cambridge Analytica for his own political campaign. Cambridge Analytica, the very company, the very organization that is at the heart of all this Facebook scandal. Why Zuckerberg is now being brought before, these fucking authoritarian pieces of shit so they can rake him over the coals or grill him and pretend that they're what? Your benevolent overlords, and they're just so concerned about your privacy. Meanwhile, they don't give a fuck about your privacy, folks. And they've shown that, and not just in legislation, but Ted Cruz has shown he don't give a fuck about your personal privacy because he actually hired Cambridge Analytica for his political organization so that he could target you just like Donald Trump, or just like the Trudeau Liberals, or just like Barack Obama in 2012. Like I say, all these fucking corrupt, well, if you're a politician, you're corrupt and you're a liar just by the very pretense and just by the very position that you hold, right? Or that you wish to attain. Come on, folks. Let's be a little bit morally and logically consistent when we're talking about this stuff. Just because now you're seeing like there's people that you would identify with on the right side of the political spectrum, just because you would identify as, let's say, a right wing or what, I guess a right-leaning libertarian. Oh, now you're all like, oh, I'm going to get behind Ted Cruz because look at him. He's giving Zuckerberg the good one, man. He's fucking really able one, that guy. It's like, yeah, but I mean, enjoy that spectacle, enjoy the entertainment, but don't forget about the fact that Ted Cruz is fucking way worse for your privacy and a bigger enemy than fucking Zuckerberg could ever hope to be. I'm going to be referencing an article for this video out of Gizmodo just to help elaborate on the kind of things I'm trying to put forth in this message. Because, hey, like I said, it's not just me, folks. The information's out there, and we do live in the age of information where you can find this stuff out pretty easily. But I'm going to make it that much more simpler by giving it to you right here now in this video. Headline out of Gizmodo. Ted Cruz, a former Cambridge Analytica client, grills Mark Zuckerberg on political bias. Before the Trump campaign got involved with the political data firm Cambridge Analytica, Senator Ted Cruz was one of the biggest clients. At Mark Zuckerberg's testimony on Capitol Hill on Tuesday, Cruz didn't really want to talk about that. Instead, he wanted to talk about Palmer Luckey, the alt-right loving former CEO of Oculus. It was clear that Cruz's questions, which were entirely focused on perceived political bias at Facebook, took Zuckerberg by surprise. The 33-year-old executive has reportedly undergone professional coaching in the lead-up to the hearing that's focused on election meddling and privacy concerns. But he didn't seem prepared for Cruz to just randomly change the subject. Prior to becoming a Texas senator, Cruz spent his fair share of time in a courtroom, and it was to be expected that he'd come hoping to vigorously debate Zuckerberg one next to another. After introductions, he launched right into the question, does Facebook consider itself a neutral public forum? So yeah, a lawyer. Well, you're going to fucking trust, he's a lawyer and a politician, and you're going to place trust in him? Really? Holy shit. Hey, I got some oceanfront property in northern Arizona that I want to sell you. If you're that fucking naive. If you're that gullible. Zook was on his talking points today and quickly answered, we consider ourselves to be a platform for all ideas. That's not what Cruz was looking for. Are you a First Amendment speaker expressing your view, or are you a neutral public forum allowing everyone to speak? The senator asked. Zuckerberg explained that Facebook puts limits on things like hate speech, terrorist content, nudity, anything that makes people feel unsafe in the community, which I'll even say, yeah, not a big fan of this unsafe comment. You know, you can criticize them for that stuff without having to go on fully and align yourself with these political hacks, with these political opportunists, with these authoritarian pieces of shit, such as Ted Cruz. You know, you can criticize both. Hey, shocking revelation, I know, but it is reality, folks. I'm sure you get where this is going. Despite having the White House, both houses of Congress, the top cable news channel, and a soon-to-be monopoly on local television, conservatives love to complain that they're being marginalized and censored. Well, that actually is a reality, so you don't have to. This is the thing. Even this author of this article, you're showing a little bit of political bias there. Try to remain more neutral and actually objective, because there is some actual evidence that that does exist. And I'm with you for the most part until you start denying reality. And then that's where we part ways. Rather than discuss the $5.8 million Cruz's campaign paid to a data firm that used the stolen Facebook information of 87 million people, Cruz wanted to insinuate that Zuckerberg is waging some sort of war on Christmas. Getting to the point Cruz bloviated, I would say that there are a great many Americans who I think are deeply concerned that Facebook and other tech companies are engaged in a pervasive pattern of bias and political censorship. First, he cited a Gizmodo investigation that exposed several former news curators who admitted that they regularly suppressed conservative news. Hearing Ted Cruz speak my employer's name made me sicker than the time something white fell out of his mouth and he licked it. Let's just make one thing clear. That investigation was newsworthy, and it also led to Facebook doing away with news curators in favor of AI. Arguably, that decision might have added to the false news epidemic during the election cycle. So Cruz probably shouldn't protest too much, because what he takes issue with is over, and the result likely benefited his party. So showing some political bias there, Rhett Jones. You might want to do a little bit better when you're doing these kind of articles, so that you can at least come across as genuinely objective. But Cruz wasn't just going to give old examples of political bias. He also mentioned the bizarre Trump-promoting duo Diamond and Silk, who recently had their Facebook page taken down. Facebook has privately communicated why the page was removed, but Diamond and Silk aren't elaborating outside of reading a message that stated, the policy team has come to the conclusion that your content and your brand has been determined unsafe to the community. Anyways, I'll post a link to this entire article in the description of the video below. There's a little bit left to it, and I do suggest that you read on further if you want to get the full nuanced details of what they're trying to put forth or espouse. But the part that I found the most hypocritical, obviously, was the fact that Ted Cruz, really, like I say, and I've already suggested in this video, so I'm sure you don't need to hear me say it again for the umpteenth time, but yeah, hypocrites, hello. You know, scrutinize and hold some of these social media platforms to the standards that you would consider proper, right? That's morally, objectively moral, right? And universally consistent. I'm on board with you as far as that goes. But to praise or promote or support these politicians that are much worse than any private corporation or someone that runs these corporations such as Zuckerberg, yeah, come on, folks, come on. Don't throw out the baby with the bathwater. Social media platforms, these are great platforms that we've used for many positive things, and it's helped humanity positively in many areas, in many regards. Scrutinize and criticize where they go wrong, for sure. I'm on board with you there. But when you're looking to an authority, especially when it comes to moral or legal, don't turn to those in government. That's the last place you want to turn for any moral or genuinely legal standards or authority. It's a Canadian Libertarian, and I love liberty.